What's up, y'all? This is Life Over Labor, and today we're going to be talking about this rigged game that we all playing. So let's get straight into it. Y'all heard the saying, the system is rigged. And what system exactly are we talking about? You probably heard of this system before, but by different names. You probably heard the rat race, you probably heard the matrix, it goes by many names, you know what I mean? But really, what it is this life that we've all just gotten used to living. I'm talking about the 9 to 5, or waking up, going to school, barely having enough time for yourself, and then going home and sleep and repeat and do the same thing, or waking up, going to work, coming home, eating, and then repeating, same thing. Really, it's like living a fraction of, real life, you feel me? We are actually living in a game. If you were born in America or any other country that has a government, and you were given a birth certificate, and your parents signed the birth certificate, and they put your name on the birth certificate, you are now officially a part of the game. They've turned our lives into a video game, but more specifically, this game of money, this perpetual chasing of money. You know what I mean? This game consists of putting our energy towards things that we don't want to do. Nobody wants to get up and go to work. You know what I mean? Why are we the only animals on this planet that work to live? For example, you don't see no monkeys paying no other monkeys to swing in the jungle. You know what I mean? We're the only animals that gotta pay for food, for living, water. That's sick. The fact that we have to pay for water, that's actually sick. Even the water that they give us for free, like the tap water, got all types of chemicals and it's unsafe to drink. You know what I mean? This is just not the life that we're meant to live, because real life, is out there. It's not in the city. Where there's people dying and starving, poverty. This ain't real life. Life is abundance. Food is everywhere. That's why, when they talk about world hunger and everything, that's something that they causing. You feel me? We actually have sovereign rights. So basically, sovereignty is having the ultimate authority over your own flesh and blood. You feel me? Your own body and your own territory and your own property. You get what I mean? You have the ultimate say. You have the last say of what's gonna happen, with yourself. So that means, no government entity or any outside entity can do anything to you, because you are sovereign in your own right. You feel me? So they can't send you to jail. They can't take away any of your stuff because you have authority over those things. I'm about to go more into how, we're a slave to money and debt specifically. We have to understand something. In America, we've been lied to all these years. Our birth certificate, for example, when you're born in the United States of America and you get your birth certificate and you become a citizen of the United States of America, you automatically lose your sovereignty and your natural born rights. So the government took these sovereign rights away from us as soon as our parents signed us away with our birth certificates. So basically, our birth certificates are actually certificates of incorporations. Our birth certificate does not represent us, but it actually represents a company. But this company has the same name as our name. When your parents sign the birth certificate, that's basically automatically creating a legal entity that's in the name that your parents gave you, that's on the birth certificate. Let's say my parents wanted to name me John Smith. So they put John Smith on the birth certificate and they sign it. So what that's doing is creating a corporation called John Smith. If you notice, on all legal documents that have your name, anything that companies or corporations sent to you to sign, if you look closely, you see that it'll have your name, John Smith, but it's going to be in all capital letters. When something is written in all capital letters, it does not represent you. It doesn't represent you as the individual, it represents your corporation. I know it sounds out there, but that's how it works. If you look in your house right now, go to your mailbox or wherever you have your mail, look at the mail. Look at where it say your name and your address. If you look at your name, more than likely it's gonna be in all capital letters, and that represents your corporation. It does not represent you. The thing is, people are duped into paying a debt that does not belong to them, but their corporation. Just how anybody can create a business, and let's say their business took out a loan, but their business wasn't able to pay back that loan, then their business will be in debt. Because it's a business that's in debt and not the actual individual, they're protected from any financial liabilities. That's why it's called a LLC, limited liability company. So any debt that the company incurs would not fall back on the actual individual because it is a separate entity. Same with the corporation that's in your name. Another name for it is a straw man. If your parents hadn't signed the birth certificate, you would have been sovereign and you wouldn't have been under legal jurisdiction from the United States. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't be able to take you to jail or nothing. They wouldn't be able to take you to prison. They wouldn't be able to take anything away from you. They can't touch you because you are a separate entity, you feel me? You're not under any of their legalities, you feel me? Or laws. So yeah, you know, we've been tricked, you know, with the birth certificate things, but we have to go back in order to really get some context with that. America now is owned by bankers, but it wasn't originally owned by bankers. But how it came to be was because before America was owned by bankers, America went through a Great Depression. And the thing is, since there was no money to go around, you know, we didn't have enough bills to be printed, you know? So some bankers came with a proposition to America. So the bankers was like, so look, we see you're going through a Great Depression or whatever, and we're willing to get you out of that depression, you feel me? So, you know, we're gonna give you this amount of money, and you know, you'll be out of the depression. But the thing is, it came with a catch, and the catch was that money was going to be given at interest. So you gotta understand, if all of the money that's given to America was printed by the bank and it was given to them at interest, then how are they ever going to pay them back if it was given to them at interest? They're automatically in debt because $1 is $1 plus interest that has to be paid. So how is that interest going to be paid unless the bank generates more money for them to pay that interest, which generates more interest and more debt? So basically it's a cycle it's a never ending cycle. Yeah, you know, America was sold out and all of its citizens were sold out. How does America plan on paying all this debt off? It's a whole scheme. Remember how I told y'all America was in debt? You know, we would need a way to pay it off. That's the thing. We are the way to pay it off. We are the collateral. We are the way that America pays its debt through work. You feel me? By working for the very corporations that gave us the money. If you really go all the way up, these corporations is owned by a few people. These few people is the same bankers that gave us our money. Notice how the American government is set up the same way a corporation is or a business is. It's set up in a way for you not to be able to meet the person at the very top. Like this the fact that you have a president. What else has presidents? Corporations, they have presidents. We didn't have no presidents back in the day. There was kings, there were chiefs. It was chiefs and it was different, you know? When we look at America now, we see all these policies and we see the police to enforce these policies. First of all, who said we have to follow any of these policies? Is a policy law? If it's not law, why is they enforcing it? The second thing is, where do we commonly see policies? Like, where do policies come from? Policies is a new thing. There wasn't no policies back then, you know what I mean? And we already know where the police system came from. That came from slave patrol, but we're not even talking about that. The main place where we see policies being used is in business, right? In corporations where money is involved, right? Yeah, so the United States is actually a corporation. Yes, America and its citizens were sold out. So you can't play the game if you don't got a birth certificate. But here's the thing, there's ways to go about that. How do you think illegal immigrants come here, get rich? You know, it's definitely ways to do that. That's the only thing about not signing a birth certificate. You know, you're not gonna be able to get no job. It's set up that way on purpose. So people are scared for generations into, you know, being a part of this system, a part of slavery, because this is modern day slavery, believe it or not. You know, the best way to keep a slave in bondage is by not even letting them know that they're in slavery. A lot of people don't even understand that they're in slavery because, you know, we have a lot of distractions, you know, like TikTok, Instagram, that just give us instant satisfaction. And when we satisfy, we're not really thinking about all our problems. But, you know, it's time to face reality and deal with these problems. People need to understand the power of your signature. People willingly sign away things like their cars because they don't know no better. But as soon as you register your car to the government, they automatically have the right to take away your car. But think about it, why would you even have to get your car registered to anything? Like, really think about it. If it's your car, why would you have to register it to anybody if it's your car? People don't think about things like that. And it's part of the reason that we are in the situation that we are in right now. You feel me? Another thing, this money thing, this money stuff is completely, it's not real. Like, really think about this. So the money that we have now, the money that we have in our pockets is really worth nothing. It's only worth anything because we say it's worth something. You know, a $1 bill is only worth $1 because the people, us, say it's worth $1. It wasn't always like that though. Back then, the dollar was actually based on gold. It was actually used as a promissory note, or you could think of it as like a receipt. So basically, if you had $1, it represented $1 worth of gold, we was on something called the gold standard. The paper money was based on gold. It came to a certain point in time where the people who determined the value of the dollar decided that it was no longer going to be determined based on gold, but based on nothing, based on how we perceived it. So the only thing that's giving a dollar its value is us. So if we was to say the dollar was worth $100, then it would be worth $100. But if we was to say it was worth nothing, it was gonna be worth nothing. I also want to talk about debt, like the debt that we're familiar with. I'm talking about like a car note or a bill or anything like that. So what happens when you don't pay a debt? So the creditor, the person who originally gave you the money, they see that you haven't been paying off the debt. So they basically say, okay, this person hasn't been paying his debt off. I don't think they're ever gonna pay it. Since they still want to make money, but they don't think that they're gonna get it out of you, they sell the debt. They actually sell the debt to a whole nother company. You know what companies they sell it to? Debt collection agencies. So yes, debt collection agencies are not part of the government. You do not have to pay debt collection agencies. You don't have to pay them. How these debt collection agencies make money is they try to scare you. They give you a whole bunch of threats. They keep calling you. They send you mail. They do whatever. They do whatever just for you to send them some money. I seen them do this to my mom over $100, bro. That's really evil. I'm not gonna lie, these companies are extremely disgusting. And if you do pay the debt collection agencies, you just paid a random company that you didn't even have to pay. People shouldn't be living like this at the end of the day. And that's why Life Over Labor is dedicated to getting people out of this rat race, liberating people from this system, so that we can live the lives that we were meant to live. But yeah, that was just a little hint inside of the world that you actually live in. I hope y'all really enjoyed this video and, it taught you something new. And I know it did, because this information is not really talked about by a lot of people. A lot of people dismiss it as conspiracy, or they just won't even look into it because, they're afraid. But, you can't be scared of knowledge, because you defeat fear by having knowledge. Somebody that's scared to swim because they might drown is not going to be scared to drown if they know how to swim. You get what I mean? You feel me? Somebody that's scared to fight is not going to be scared to fight when they know how to box. You get what I mean? It's really simple, but at the same time, it's so deep, and I really love that. And I really appreciate y'all for watching this video. And yeah, peace.